How many languages can you speak? 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 Hello.
Hello. I usually speak in Chinese.
Okay, and also English.
Yes, a little bit English.
I can speak 2 languages,
Which are they?
English and French.
And did you grow up speaking them both, or did you learn one of them at school?
No, so I learnt French a bit in school, but I stopped before GCSE, and then I just made some friends in France and kind of kept it going.
Wow, and how did you make those friends?
I did a French exchange, but also like I went to France with my family a couple of times, so I met some people my own age, and that was really fun.
I would say 3.
Which languages are they?
Swedish, English, French.
And which is your first language?
Swedish.
And how did you learn English and French?
I learned English through my mum, who's British, but also through school, I would say. And French because of my mum, again, or thanks to my mum, and because I moved to France when I was 19.
And so if you speak Swedish, can you understand any other languages that are related?
Yes, Norwegian basically I think of as Swedish but with a twang.
Nice.
And Danish is a bit more hard to understand, but it's quite easy.
So pretty much you can put 5 languages in your CV then. Nice.
1.
Which language?
English.
And how come you can speak English?
Well, that's what I was brought up speaking.
And have you ever lived anywhere else apart from England?
Yes, I was brought up living in the Middle East for the first 11 years of my life.
Okay, which countries?
So that was Beirut, Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Kuwait, Libya, places like that.
And have you ever had any experience of learning another language?
Yes, at school I learnt French and also Latin.
Do you have any favorite words in French? Or do you care to say anything in French to the camera, or are you too embarrassed?
My French is, I'm afraid, not... I've recently tried to resurrect my French, but it's pretty poor.
Okay, taking that as a note. And so do you still live and work in the UK?
I do. I'm a retired English teacher and examiner, and I now run a course for students wanting to get a grade 9 in English language GCSE.
Okay, thanks so much.
I can speak and understand 2, but my CV says 4.
So why does your CV say 4? And which are they?
The 2 that I speak and I understand are English and Urdu because I'm from Pakistan. And why it says 4 on my CV is because India is right next to Pakistan and we speak very similar languages. So I, in my CV, have said that I speak and understand Hindi as well. And then because I'm a Muslim, I can read the Quran, which means I can read Arabic. So I've also written like whatever the lowest level of language is.
Nice.
I've written that for Arabic.
So what does it mean to you to be multilingual?
I mean, I didn't really think a lot about it when I was younger and living in Pakistan, but I moved here for university in 2022, and I think it becomes a much bigger part of your identity when you're living away from home. So I think that's quite interesting. But I think just the fact that, you know, I think I just feel more connected to my country anytime I'm like walking and I hear someone speaking in Urdu or Hindi, and I'm like, yeah, that's me.
Oh, nice.
I think about 10.
Shut up, be for real. How many languages can you really speak?
3.
Which are they?
English, French and Spanish.
And is there any other language you can kind of speak?
I started learning Polish and I could kind of speak that for a while, but I've forgotten most of it. And I also started learning Arabic, but I can only say a few words now.
Nice. My next question is, which is your favorite language and why?
Favorite language that I know, or just in general?
Both.
Okay, I love Spanish. I adore Spanish. It's so much fun to speak. It makes me feel happy when I speak it, and it's so musical and satisfying. I love the sound of Polish, so I really want to keep learning that. But when I was learning Arabic, I found it so beautiful with the script and writing.
3, technically.
Why are you so confused?
Well, because it's pretty hard to define exactly what you mean by a language. Like, I'm from the north of England, but I can also talk Southern British English if I really wanted to. So it's difficult to say how many languages I speak if I also speak dialects.
Okay, that's a very nuanced response. And what are the official languages you can speak then?
Official languages, I speak English, French, and Spanish. A little bit.
Okay, and which one is the best, medium, and the worst?
English is the best because it's my first language, and then French because I studied it right up to A-level, and then Spanish because I did it in school, did a bit of Duolingo, and when I'm drunk I try to talk to Spanish people and it usually doesn't end very well.
No, that's great. I speak 6 languages.
Oh my god, which ones?
Okay, so I don't speak all of them fluently, but I speak English natively, and then Spanish and French near natively. I got the C2 certificates. I was very proud of myself for that.
Wow.
And then I have the C1 in Italian, so I'm also fluent in Italian. Portuguese, I want to do the C1 this summer, but right now I'm about the B2. And after that is Catalan, which I have the B1 in, so that's my weakest language.
Oh my god, which one's your favorite?
That's a tough question. It depends, it really depends on the time of year, whatever mood I'm in, and the setting. So I've always said that, for example, I would like to marry a French man. So if there's any lovely French friend watching this video, leave a comment. No, I just think French is a very romantic language.
Yeah.
And then I love Portuguese music so much. Pablo Vittar is like the love of my life, Gloria Groove.
I can just speak English, my native tongue.
Okay. And have you ever tried to learn a different language?
I was taught French at school and it wasn't my gift and I should have applied myself better.
Have you ever traveled and learnt languages when you travel?
When going down through Africa, I learned a little Swahili. Again, I could have done better.
Okay. And do you think that languages are well taught in English schools?
In general, not, but there are some that excel.
Do you study languages at Cambridge?
No, I do not. I study politics, undergrad.
Okay, is that the name of the course?
No, it's called Human, Social and Political Sciences.
Awesome. And do you enjoy your time at Cambridge?
I love Cambridge.
Nice. Do you think it lives up to the expectations?
Yeah, 100%.
In the good way or the bad way?
Oh my god, good way only. What is the bad way?
Nice.
No, so I study sciences. I study chemistry and biology.
And do you think it's a good university?
Oh yeah, it's like lovely here.
I don't. I actually study linguistics.
And is that not the same thing?
That is a question I get very often. Linguistics is actually the science of languages. So I like to think about this like race cars. Race car drivers are the people who learn to use race cars, but mechanics learn how race cars work. It's the same thing with languages and linguistics. Languages students use languages, but linguists learn how they work, the pieces that make up a language, and how they all fit together into a wider system.
Awesome. That's a very good analogy. You must have said that a lot in Freshers Week.
It happens a lot.
Nice. And have you finished your studies here at Cambridge, or are you still studying?
I have finished here in Cambridge. I did my undergraduate here, and I've also just completed my master's, but I'm not quite done studying yet, and I'm hoping to go on to do a PhD in linguistics as well.
Nice. And after all those 4 years of study, you must have some fun facts for me about linguistics.
Yeah, I guess so. One of my favorite facts about English linguistics is if you think about the way you say it, the word crisp starts in the back of your mouth and ends at the front.
Crisp.
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 So crisp starts with a k, which is a velar plosive sound right in the back of your throat. You then move to like re, which is like further forward in your mouth, and then s, which is made with your tongue against your teeth, and then p, which is made with your lips. So you start at the back and your tongue gradually moves to the front of your mouth.
So it's kind of like doing the worm but with your tongue? Is that
Basically.
Okay, maybe I'm a linguist too. Super interesting. So did you go to university in Cambridge?
Yeah. I just graduated actually 2 weeks ago from St Edmund's College.
Interesting. And where are we today?
Today we're at Newnham actually. Very, very beautiful.
A gorgeous summer's day. Last question. You mentioned that sometimes you heard people speaking Urdu in Cambridge. Is there a big community of people who speak Urdu, or are they far and few between?
I think that's a very nuanced question actually, because we don't, you see a lot of Indians, in Cambridge, compared to Pakistani. So you don't actually hear Urdu as often as you hear Hindi, but because, like how I said earlier, they're quite similar. So it feels like I'm listening to the same language. So not really a big Urdu speaking community. But another thing that I would like to say is that usually the type of people who sort of have the money or the funds to come from Pakistan to the UK or the US, or like go abroad anywhere for their education, they're not really sort of from communities who speak Urdu, because like there's still a sort of very class-based system in Pakistan where if you're sort of moving abroad, your main sort of language is English. That wasn't the case for me, which is why I still sort of, I think, converse in both of them. But yeah, I think that's why you don't really hear a lot of Urdu here.
I just graduated.
Woohoo! Well done. And which college were you at?
Girton.
And what was your experience of studying at Cambridge? What was the best bit?
The best bit was meeting so many amazing people, making so many incredible friends, and yeah, just being surrounded by people who, from all different backgrounds, who have a curiosity and a fire in their belly and yeah, an interest in making the world a better place.
Nice. What did you study at Cambridge?
French and Spanish.
That explains why you speak so many languages. So what is your favourite word or expression in any language?
I've actually thought about this one now. And I think my favourite word, although very, very hard to pin down, I think would be Assalamu alaikum, which is, I think, I say it because I'm a Muslim, but I think it's just a normal sort of Arabic word that you use when you're greeting someone. And it just means, like hello to you and like under the blessings of Allah or God, which I really like.
I would say from Swedish, liljekonvalj.
What does that mean?
Do you want to guess?
Butterfly.
No.
Dragonfly.
No. It means lily of the valley.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
It's a very nice word.
我爱中国.
What does that mean?
I love China.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
What are you doing here in Cambridge?
I'm a visitor here for several days.
Nice, tourism.
Yeah.
Cookie, so shells.
And why?
I just like the way it sounds in your mouth.
Okay.
I love the word carcajada
Carcajada.
in Spanish, which means burst of laughter.
Oh,
And
that's so
I
cute.
think it kind of sounds like you're cackling when you say it.
Favorite word in Spanish is sacapuntas because I just think it sounds pretty.
Sacapuntas, nice. And what about... Where actually are we right now? Because it's a gorgeous setting.
Right now we're in St. John's College in Cambridge where I studied. We're right in front of the Bridge of Sighs, which is on like all the postcards and everything. And actually before I came to Cambridge, my grandma bought a postcard of Cambridge for me and it had the bridge on, and she had no idea that I would actually end up here in the end.
I have one word that sticks out, which is the word saudade in Portuguese, which is kind of like a longing or nostalgia for something that is not present with you right now, I'd say, or maybe doesn't even exist. So I could say, I don't know, if I call my mom when I'm in a different country, but like, que saudade, mai. Like, oh, I miss you, but it's different, I miss you, because you can also say a direct translation of I miss you. I'd say that's probably my favorite word. Do you want to say anything in a foreign language to the camera? Something short, something sweet. Or it could be a whole speech if you want. Which language are you thinking?
Estoy pensando en español.
Ya, dale.
porque He olvidado los otros.
Está bien, está bien.
Nada, gracias, buen día.
Yeah. And finally, where are we right now?
We're in St. Cat's.
Jag önskar alla som tittar på den här videon en otroligt trevlig dag. That was actually the most humble sentence ever.
You said jag älskar, which means I love, right?
No.
What did you say? What did you say?
I said I wish whoever's watching this video a really lovely, pleasant day.
Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you so much.
अस्सलाम वालेकुम, मेरा नाम फातिमा है और मैं 23 साल की हूँ. मैंने 2 हफ्ते पहले कैम्ब्रिज यूनिवर्सिटी से अपनी पढ़ाई ख़त्म करी है जिसमें मैंने ह्यूमन सोशल और पॉलिटिकल साइंसेस पढ़े थे अब मैं इंशाल्लाह लंदन मूव करूँगी जहाँ मैं एक जॉब स्टार्ट करने वाली हूँ Can you pick, I don't know, maybe your weakest language out of those 6
Okay,
and then
Catalan.
introduce yourself in that
Okay.
language?
Catalan is definitely my worst language, and because I've been so intensively studying Portuguese recently, it's become a bit of a mix. I can try my best. Okay.
Yeah.
Hola tothom, soc l'Andrew. Soc un estudiant aquí a la Universitat de Cambridge. Vaig fer un curs intensiu de català l'any passat, però diguem-ne que no tinc molts amics catalans amb qui parlar i per això el meu nivell no està molt bé. I think I said the last bit wrong, but it was good enough.
Can we have the same thing in your best language, please?
Of course. Ben, salut tout le monde, moi c'est Andrew, j'ai 22 ans et je suis... En fait, je fais LEA ici à Cambridge, c'est-à-dire langue étrangère appliquée. Du coup, ma spécialité c'est le français, mais je fais français-espagnol. J'ai vraiment plein de potes français ici à Cambridge, mais ma meilleure pote est libanaise. Donc du coup, c'est un peu comme ça que j'ai appris à parler couramment, quoi. Mais ouais, c'est ça.
I did not understand any of that. Can you please also tell us what that meant in English,
I
please?
said, hello, my name's Andrew, I'm 22, I go to Cambridge. I have lots of French friends here, but my best friend is Lebanese, and that's really how I learn. French, I think, outside of the classroom. And a fun fact is actually that I would always make fun of her because her pronunciation is slightly different to like mainland France. So instead she's going up, she says like, oh, I want to go upstairs, she'd say, je vais aller en haut. But in France you say, je vais aller en haut. So you don't pronounce the H. So I'd always make fun of her. I'd be like, ah, tu vas aller en haut or something. Like, I'd always like really make fun of her pronunciation. And then one day after spending so much time with her, I realized I had her accent and I couldn't get rid of it. But it's a gorgeous accent.
I love that. That's such a sweet story.
Wait, can I say something in Portuguese?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Thanks. Oi, galera. Eu também tenho um canal em qual eu publico vídeo todo dia falando português, porque quero melhorar meu nível atual. Então, por favor, se inscrevam. Okay, and do you have any tips for learning languages?
I would say immersion.
Immersion.
Immersion and practice.
Okay.
And also just like daring to speak, I think is the best way to practice any language.
Nice.
Immersion. If you can find people who speak the language fluently and talk to them, that was the easiest thing for me.
Ooh, best language learning tip. Use it as much as you possibly can. Often people kind of get caught up, especially studying language in school, of going to textbooks and trying to memorize things and doing exercises and like vocab lists. But actually, most of language comes from use. It's a practical skill that you have to learn the same way you'd learn to ride a bike or anything else. So there are no kind of hidden tips or tricks on how to suddenly unlock a language. As linguists, all we know is the more you use it, the better you get. And also how much more natural you get by using it.
How did you go about learning so many languages?
So this is actually quite a particular story, I'd say. So, like I said, I grew up just speaking English until year 7 at school. So I went to school in England and I started learning French then, but I was completely obsessed. Like, I mean, I later in life got diagnosed with ADHD, which completely makes sense because when I have a vision in view, no, not when I have a vision in view, I'm forgetting to speak English, you guys. But when I have an objective, I would just be completely obsessed with that one thing and sometimes just ignore everything else. So I really became obsessed with French and I really liked my classes. And then I did GCSE and A-level. And then I picked up Spanish, which is my second foreign language, in year 9. And then I did GCSE and A-level. And then up until 18, I just spoke English, French and Spanish to about like upper intermediate level. But it was funny because I think learning languages at school in the UK, I was lucky I went to a school that had a really strong foreign languages department. I don't think that's very common, I dare say, in the UK. I feel bad saying that about my own country. I love the UK, but speaking to my international friends here at Cambridge, we often get shown up by how well they speak other languages. And then I studied French and Spanish at uni. Then I did an exchange year in Italy, thanks to my university. And then Portuguese, I volunteered in a charity in Brazil for a month and then did a month language school. And also, fun story, I actually broke my leg. Wasn't fun, but in first year. And I had a lot of plans for summer, but I couldn't do any of them. So I just lay in bed watching TV all summer in Portuguese. And then Catalan because my university offered a course in Catalan. So that's a lot. So there's a lot of information.
That is so incredible.
If a magic wizard came up to you and said you could have another language for free, no studying required, which one would you choose?
Ooh, good question. I'd probably say Hungarian.
Okay, interesting.
Hungarian is a language isolate. It doesn't really have any close relatives to it linguistically, so it's a really kind of rare language. And actually, part of my PhD research is looking at how negation works in Hungarian, which, as you can imagine, is quite difficult when you don't actually speak Hungarian. So that would be pretty useful, I think.
Nice. And what was your master's research on, or your undergrad research, if you don't mind me asking?
So my undergrad research was in a field called experimental pragmatics, which uses experiments to assess how we use language in communication and conversation. And I actually researched what counts as a lie, and I found that certain ways of communicating can be lies, and other ways might not count as lies.
If I could be fluent in it, Mandarin, because I feel like it would be incredibly hard to learn on my own. So I would really love to have like support learning that one.